published a book called Race, Tendencies, and Traits of the American Negro, in which he lays out all the numbers, and then he concludes that if we simply avoided allowing black people to have any access to health care, that within 2 or 3 generations, the whole race would die out, and that would solve the race problem in America. When Teddy Roosevelt, 1912, proposed a national health care system, people said no because black people will get it. When Franklin Roosevelt proposed a national health care system, it was the same thing. We don't want black people to get it. When Truman tried it in 1947, same thing. Don't want black people to get it. We have to figure out a way to keep black people from using Medicare. And the way that they came up with was to have a 20% hole, a gap in Medicare, so that you had to pay 20% of your doctor's bill and your hospital bill, and that would discourage poor black people from showing up at the hospitals. Nearly 100% of the reason why the United States is the only country in the world that doesn't define healthcare as a right is because of racism.
If you are a person of color, specifically a black person, that aligns with racist white people, I want to give you some insider information as someone who has a lot of family members from the South specifically, and who has spent a lot of time specifically around rich white people, and who happens not to be racist. So, racist rich white people, like if they talk shit about other minorities and how they, live and act in their culture and this, that, and the other thing, and then they're really nice to you and make you feel like you're accepted, you're different, you're not one of them, they are lying to you. I'm sure other white people can attest to this. When you leave, they mock the fact that you think you are like them. Now, obviously, this is not all white people. It's also not all rich white people. But if you are hanging out with a white person and you think that you're different or special when they're racist towards everyone else, absolutely not. They will mock the fact that you think you're like them, and they oftentimes like you less than the average Joe because they think like, who do you think you are? Like they perceive it as like you're trying to put yourself on the same social status as them. And because they're extremely racist, there is nothing you could ever do or say or any way you could act or dress that would change the way they think. I'm sure other white people can attest to the fact that they think everyone thinks like them, so they'll just like say shit. Like it's normal to other white people thinking they agree with them. It's really weird. It's especially bad in the South. It's especially bad against wealthier white people. Usually the more like those in the lower class of society will just be more overtly racist. Nope, these ones will smile in your face, they'll start a business with you, your kids will hang out together, and the whole time they will be fucking pissed at your existence. But they find you useful. Because then they can maintain some kind of social status and signal like, oh, I'm not racist. I've seen, several black creators talking about the Nolan Wells case and like the people he was around. You need to listen to them. They are correct.
I don't really care about anybody that does not have good character. And I think people keep looking to white people, specifically black culture, is pedestalizing white people so much that they then make everything about race. If you're a bad person, then you're a bad person. And contrary to popular belief, people that are of a certain class that are not interested in interacting with people that are of the lower class don't care if you white or black. So it doesn't matter if you're a black person. If you're a white person that don't meet the expectation of what they trying to do, you not rocking either.
So I got a question for all you crackers. Y'all really, really seem to hate black people. So here's my question. What did they do to y'all? What have they done to y'all to make you feel this way?
Why not just give black people Maryland, Georgia, and Texas? Never thought I would say this, but given the current state of events and what they're trying to do, it seems like the Caucasians want to live a particular way, and they want to live in a way that's going to be advantageous for them. Okay? Cool. Whatever. But what you don't have to do is disenfranchise us, though. You know what I'm saying? So just give black people, then this is not counting the Asians and all the Indians and all the other percentages of colored individuals that are here in the United States of America. I'm just talking about black people, that 13 to 14% of people. Give us Georgia, Maryland, and Texas. We will easily fit in those states. Okay, maybe one more. I don't know, but definitely Texas, Maryland, Georgia. The Caucasians only make up about 57% of the population. That's 25 states. Y'all gonna have 25 to 26, 27 states. Okay, really, if you really think about it. And then y'all can divvy up the rest between the minorities that's here. And we can create our own environment. We can create our own government. We can do our own thing. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to be worried about seeing black people all the time, or their culture rubbing off on you, or whatever the reason is that y'all are disenfranchising black people right now. Just give us land. You didn't give 40 acres and a mule. You didn't do that. And you did take this land from the Indians, the Native Americans, the First Nationers. I want to keep throwing that out there. This land was taken. So, since we were here, allegedly, through unscrupulous means, meaning y'all went over to Africa or other countries and snatched up some people and brought them over here, just give us our own space then. Just give us our own space. I know some Caucasians will be like, that's not us. That's not what we want. We don't want to be segregated. We don't want to be isolated and just live around Caucasian people. That's cool. Then y'all go to different states, right? So all the people, all the white people, all the Caucasians that want to just live and see a bunch of Caucasians, they don't want to see nothing else, no diversity, give them a few states, okay? And then the rest of the states with the other Caucasians in it, if they want to let people come in and be diversified, cool. But there will be specific states dedicated to Caucasians, dedicated to whites, dedicated to the other minorities, okay? That's the way I see this panning out in a more effective way, without having to keep reliving this nightmare that Caucasians are having about minorities taking over their place, their space, their environment, whatever. I don't see the problem with that. But something tells me y'all don't want to do that either. You heard it here on Richard Victoria's God's Top Line. I'm checking in.
White people, watch this video and I'll be right back.
He published a book called Race, Tendencies, and Traits of the American Negro, in which he lays out all the numbers, and then he concludes that if we simply avoided allowing black people to have any access to health care, that within 2 or 3 generations, the whole race would die out, and that would solve the race problem in America. When Teddy Roosevelt, 1912, proposed a national health care system, people said no because black people will get it. When Franklin Roosevelt proposed a national health care system, it was the same thing. We don't want black people to get it. When Truman tried it in 47, same thing. Don't want black people to get it. We have to figure out a way to keep black people from using Medicare. And the way that they came up with was to have a 20% hole, a gap in Medicare, so that you had to pay 20% of your doctor's bill and your hospital bill, and that would discourage poor black people from showing up at the hospitals. Nearly 100% of the reason why the United States is the only country in the world that doesn't define healthcare as a right is because of racism. He published a book called Race, Tendencies, and Traits of the American Negro.
How many times do I have to say this? Racism is a detriment to you white folks, poor white folks especially. Because of racism, you poor white folks can't even get good health care. Because they thought if they could deny health care to black people that we would have been eradicated a long time ago. But hey, we still here. And they have not changed the rules. How crazy is that? Even with Social Security, you have to pay 20% because of racism. We keep telling you. BIPOC keep telling you. Black people keep telling you, it is not us that makes your life suck. It is those racist politicians and their racist legislation that they think that's going to harm us, but harms you at the same time. And they don't care if it harms you. They don't give a shit. And then you continue to vote against your own interests. All because a bunch of rich white people told y'all to hate black people because black people are doing stuff to you as a whole. And we're not. Because we don't control shit. We don't control the healthcare system. We don't control Social Security. We don't control your wages. We don't control shit. But they continue to tell you that it's us. So you turn your focus on us and harass the shit out of us for no fucking reason. When we have no power to affect your life as a whole community. Pay attention.
When it comes to the job market in LA or California, there's a huge discrimination issue going on with Black Americans. Employers are not willing to hire Black Americans even if they are qualified. Even if they're overly qualified, they're still not willing to hire them. There's a hidden agenda at play here. We've seen an increase of employers only wanting to hire people from the Hispanic community, and there's nothing wrong with that because people have to work and provide for their family, but they're not doing it for the right reasons. They're doing it with the intention to control, because when it comes to fighting for injustices or speaking up about certain things, they feel like the Hispanic community is not going to speak up because they're normally quiet.
Yeah, and then you have Hispanics they don't want to hire Black people. Let's just be real about that. There's over 170 class action lawsuits in California from Los Angeles to San Francisco with over 30% of the offenders against Black people are Hispanics just simply because they won't hire them. Now, this is them working at somebody else's establishment, practicing these discrimination practices, and then this is them with their own companies just refusing to hire Black people. You could just walk around Southern California, Los Angeles specifically, who's working the front office of these businesses. Go get a doctor appointment. Who's going to be in the front? Who's going to be the medical assistant? And it's not like Black Americans don't have these certificates or licenses. It's just simply that they won't hire them, right? And we could talk about the state jobs, the county jobs, the city jobs. It's just, you're just closed out of the market, period. And last time I checked, isn't a white supremacist mayor of Los Angeles, isn't that a white supremacist? Oh, it's Karen Bass. Oh, she identifies as a Black lady. And you know what? She's never going to address this issue because she don't want to mess with her Latino Hispanic fan base who she really advocate for.
Would you let a Black person into your church for church service? No. An Asian person, Indian person? No. Why is that? Why would you not let them into the church?
Because that would lead to breaking the covenant. It doesn't mean that I hate those people. I don't hate you. I don't hate this man here. I have no reason to hate him.
Do you have any Black friends?
No, I'm friendly to Black people. But
you don't have any Black friends?
I don't have Black friends.
Well, the Greek word for God's love, there's like 5 different Greek words for love, but the Greek word for God's love is agape, and it means unconditional love. So if you go off of unconditional love, and Chris Kim, who's Cambodian, says, hey, can I come to your church service? And you say no. Right. Then you would be treating him conditionally and partially, right?
Yeah. See, you're changing that meaning. I believe they're referring to Israel. God he gave covenant to Israel.
From the clips we have just watched, one point repeatedly raised was that, with the exception of Indigenous, that is Native Americans, the ancestors of most people living in the United States arrived from elsewhere over the course of history, whether voluntary or by force. Some clips also challenge claims about who owns America, with some speakers arguing that naturalized immigrants are just as Americans. Thus, the immigrants, especially those that were born in the country, that the country belongs to them. Why others disagree on that? It's important to note that there is no basis for saying that Black Americans as a group should be deported. Many Black Americans have family that have lived in the United States for generations and are also United States citizens by birth. Likewise, Native Americans are recognized as original indigenous people of what is now in the United States. Ultimately, the discussion shows how questions of immigration, citizenship, and history remain deeply contested, and why understanding the fact that different perspectives is essential before forming conclusion. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on important issues. Thank you.